Hey, hi, hello, let's do some reading. Before we get actually into the books, I'd like to address the elephant in the room. So I have injured myself. I actually did it on this bad boy yesterday morning. I was hanging some stuff up in my room and turned around and got hit in the head with a fan at full speed. I am covering it right now with some bandages. I had to get butterfly stitches put in, so they didn't want to put actual like stitches in my face because face. So I have butterfly stitches, which are like bandages that kind of like hold the skin together. It's not horrible. I am in pain, but it's not a lot, and when I make crazy facial expressions it hurts a ton, so you might see me wince every once in a while on camera, but I'm doing good. Let's talk about books. That's what we're here for. Last week I was trying to catch up for the month of August, trying to read books that I needed to read because I put them on my TBR and I hadn't been able to get to them yet. I was gonna do another one this week, but I realized that this is my last week reading for my August TBR, so it kind of is always catch up in the last week anyways. I'm not even gonna bother calling it that. This is just me reading to see what I can read. My main task this week is to finish Crescent City. I'm 340 pages into it. Now my Wi-Fi is not working either, so I'm gonna sit and read. I definitely want to get to page 400, but I'd love to make it to page, I'd love to make it to page 500 if I could. Then I'm really excited about this book, so I think it'll be what I pick up next. I was gonna push it off a little bit more, but I physically can't wait anymore, so I'm gonna be picking this up. This is the third book in the Plated Prisoners series. The first one is Glint. The first one is Guild. The second one is Glint. I read them both over the past few weeks and have loved them both so much. So I can't wait to get to the third book, even though it's the last one that's published and I have to wait until next year to read the fourth. I'm hoping to get through both of those this week and then start Kingdom of Liars, which is my book club's pick for the month. My audiobook right now, at the moment, I am listening to Little Heaven by Nick Cutter. Nick Cutter wrote The Troop, which I read last December, and then he also wrote The Deep, which I read last month. I loved both of those, rated them 5 out of 5 stars. I think I'm like 3 hours into Little Heaven, and that's like 20% through the book because it's horror, it's pretty short. It's a horror about these 3 mercenaries that are brought together to save this kidnapped victim, and now we're seeing them years later as they've kind of separated and they're being brought together because something bad happens and they're being called back to the town where they saved that boy. I don't know what I exactly can say. It's a really weird book, and I'm definitely not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed The Troop or The Deep, but I am enjoying it a lot. Right now it's like a solid 4-star. I love Nick Cutter's writing, and he does this awful like grossness in his horror where it's just like insects and bugs and blood and gore and body horror, and I really do enjoy that. But I'm finding where I'm at right now, I'm not as attached to these characters as I was attached to the characters in The Troop or The Deep, and I think that's why I'm kind of having a slight disconnect from this book, whereas I didn't have that from either of the 2 previous ones. Hello! So I am not having my head covered. For the most part, it's going to be off screen. You might be seeing it in some random clips, just so you all know. It's doing pretty well, actually. And I am making my way through Crescent City still. So yesterday I read to page 430. Right now I'm at page 450, so I'm hoping to read another 100 pages tonight before I go to bed. But I have just been working on all of my stuff for the magical readathon. G over the weekend announced all of the stuff, and so I've been planning. So I actually have 2 packages in the mail right now. This one I pulled out this morning, and then I just went out because I got a notification that another one arrived, and the way it's jammed into my mailbox, I cannot get it out. So I put in a complaint for the post office. I'm hoping that they're gonna fix it. So my mailbox has like 2 sides, and the mail person puts it in one side, and I can't access that side. I can only access my side, and my side has like a lip on it, so you can put it in from one side, but you cannot pull it out the other, and I can't get my book, and it's like a special edition book, so I'm not gonna break it. I'm gonna open this with you all on camera today, and then hopefully tomorrow I'm hoping I can pull that other package out. I know what this is. You guys do not know what this is, but I am psyched about this package. I was contacted by an author who I believe they are an independently published author, and someone from the UK who is working on a book, and they're working on a series, a fantasy series, and they asked if I wanted to read it, and I was like, heck yeah. And they sent me the physical copy. This is the first physical ARC that I've ever received. I have received one that I won in a giveaway, but like an ARC physically that I'm supposed to read and review and talk about on my channel, this is the first one, and I think it's so freaking pretty. I'm like really excited to be reading this. So I was very stingy. I didn't want to just say yes to the author. So I actually went on Amazon before I said yes and read a sample of the book, what they could offer me, and I really liked what I read so far, and I'm really excited to be picking this up. Book 2 is coming out, I believe they said, in September. It might get pushed back to October. The back says, for 300 years, the people of the 5 realms have lived in relative peace, protected by their great leader, the Archeon. Yet far to the north, in the frozen lands beyond the Dragalan Trench, the Rook stir, driven by a rising evil, long believed banished from the world. But rumors questioning the Archelian's ability to defend the realm once more persist. Elodie, the Lady Harlan, uneasy in her new role following the death of her father, Torian, a farm worker and an outsider in his village, must discover a way to fight an enemy that all but defeated their ancestors. I'm excited to be picking this one up. I'm hoping to get to it really, really soon. I definitely want to read it before the year is up. So it's on my list. I'm about to go put it on my shelf, but I can't get over how pretty this looks in person. Go check that out. The author is R.E. Palmer. I guess that's really it for my Monday update. No, it's not. No, it's not. I have some more exciting news. So I am 50% through Little Heaven. I'm not enjoying it. My dude's not liking the book at all. I feel like I did a really horrible job summarizing it the other day, but I'm not about to go into more depth of what it's about. I was really enjoying the writing, and I still do like the writing. Nick Carter has a very distinct writing style that I enjoy and I definitely recognize as his, but this book is just gross for grossness sake. I can totally do gross things. I'm totally fine with body horror. I'm totally fine with that being in books, but it just feels like he's being gross for no real reason. There are these like vivid scenes of bugs and insects. There's so many bug scenes in this book where bugs are just crawling on people or in people or out of people. There seems to be no point to the plot for that to be there. Maybe it's supposed to be unsettling, but I'm not unsettled and I'm not horrified. I'm just kind of like, why about it? I also think I'm not in love with any of the characters, so that's kind of hard for me. I definitely need to feel some type of attachment, even if it's like dislike towards characters. I'm just feeling nothing towards these characters. It makes it hard for me to care about these horrible things happening to them when I don't care about them at all. But I'm 50% through, so I'm really on the fence about whether or not I'm going to DNF it, but since I made it 50% through, I can technically use it for bingo, and I don't have to worry about the fact that I did buy it this month and then it doesn't count against my bingo because I made it far enough along into it. But I think I'm gonna kind of wait and see tomorrow. There's enough intrigue that I'm like curious to know what happens at the end, but I'm at the part now where they're at the cult and they're like trying to save the little boy from the cult. And it's not so much like, oh, the cult is the bad guy. It's kind of like the cult was just misled by this demon thing, and the demon thing is now terrorizing everyone who's there. The cult, the humans, the hikers, everything. I'm not quite into it like I wanted to be, so that kind of sucks, but I'm gonna make my final decision tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep on it. But then today I decided to start, because I thought I was gonna DNF it, and then I said, no, let's keep going. So for an hour today, instead of listening to Little Heavens, I decided to pick up the audiobook for Foundry Side, which is on my board this month. I don't remember why I'm reading it, but I am. It took me a while to get into it. At first I was like, oh no, am I in a mood? Because I'm thinking about DNFing this book too. But after the first hour, so for me it was 30 minutes because I'm listening at times 2 speed, I started to get into it more. And it was once the key character is present, I was like, okay, I'm actually really enjoying this. And I think the reason why I wasn't enjoying it in the beginning is I don't really like humorous books. And this book is definitely like sassy and humorous. It is like a high fantasy where our main character, okay, the whole entire world has this like rune-based magic. So runes and like etchings onto items can make them basically kind of come alive. But our main character has this ability to hear and kind of speak with inanimate objects. And she seems to be the only one. And she thinks it's because of this like plate that's in her head. And she's a thief. She's a con artist. So she's going out and stealing things. And she gets this job right in the first chapter where she is sent to steal this item. And when she steals the item, she peeks at what it is. She wasn't supposed to do that. And it ends up being this big, toppling, effective thing. But now I'm enjoying it. Now that I've gotten with her banter, like interacting with a different character instead of it just being her kind of being funny, I'm way more into the story and I'm enjoying myself more. Okay, so I've gotten a package in the mail, but it's so filthy that I don't want to bring it into my house and open it. So we're gonna try to figure this out real quick. So my package is not only soaking wet, but like covered in dirt, and it's on both sides. So it's not like they just dropped it in the dirt. Do you mind? It's not like they just dropped it in the dirt. Like there's dirt all over it. It looks like someone drop kicked it into a muddy puddle and then kicked it a few more feet. I'm gonna use my knife. It's dirty anyways. Hands are gross. I don't even want to pick up the book. Oh boy. Okay, let's get rid of this real quick. Normally I reuse my bubble mailers, but there's no way in hell I'm reusing that one. So I finally have Legacy of Light in my hands. Last week I finished Legacy of Steel and I'm so freaking excited about it. I honestly don't know what this book is about. I feel like Legacy of Steel left off at a great place and I don't even really need to read this book, but I have it now for whenever I am in the mood to read it, and I rated both book 1 and 2 5 stars. My head is doing decently well. My package is still stuck in my mailbox, so I can't show that to you all. Unfortunately, I'm really hoping that that gets resolved this week. It's time to update the board. Let's go do that real quick. I had my eye on a few books on TikTok recently that independent authors have been posting on TikTok, like their books, and they just sound really good to me. So there's this one that keeps popping up that just sounds like it's right up my alley. So I finally ordered it and I decided to use it as my wanted item, which means that it doesn't count towards bingo either way. It's just a wanted item. I get it for free basically for bingo. So that means I do get my first bingo, which is really exciting. So that covers another book. I do have a few that I've bought this month that I haven't been able to read yet, so that'll be really good and help cover those. And then this morning I just decided to DNF Little Heavens, so I don't have a spot on the board that it'll fit, so it's just not going to count for anything, I guess. But since I did buy it this month, it's not going to be counted against me since I gave it an honest attempt. This morning I was kind of in the mood to pick up something really short, quick, and just kind of like get a book underneath my belt. So I decided about a week ago I had checked out Infinity Blade Awakens by Brandon Sanderson from my library, which is like a 5-hour audiobook of this like high fantasy, kind of sci-fi fantasy world where this one family line is sent to kill the God King and they always fail, and then the book opens up, the first chapter, our main character succeeds, and it's kind of his like repercussions after killing the god in the story. It was okay. I rated it 3 stars, and after I read it, I realized by reading other people's reviews that it was actually based on a video game, and I feel like if I had read or played the video game, I would have enjoyed the book a lot more, but it was just okay for me. I didn't feel really attached to anything. I could have stopped at any point. The writing was good, but So I'm going to be using that for metallic on the cover because it was a library book, so that is now my blue color. So I get to remove that, and then I get to flip my last 2 unknowns. So let's see what this one is. 1 hour of audiobook listening. Cool, that'll be pretty simple. I'll probably knock that out Thursday. And then I get to take a Pinterest break. Cool, I do that pretty much every day, as is. 520 pages into Crescent City. I'm actually really enjoying it where I'm at right now. I don't think I'm going to be rating the book above a 3-star unless the last 300 pages like really knock it out of the park. Then I might go up to a 3.5, but I'm really doubting, just based on how the first 500 pages have gone, that it'll be a 4-star. I'm enjoying the book though, and I think I'm gonna wait and talk on that more later, because I'm gonna try to go downstairs now and just read for 2-ish hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, then stop and have dinner, and then read for like another 2 hours to try to knock out as much of this book as I can, because I really want to have it done by tomorrow. But I did officially start spinning silver today. I have the audiobook. I'm listening to the audiobook while I'm working. I decided to mix it up instead of continuing with Foundry Side, because I really need to read Spinning Silver this month. I was looking at the board and I was like, Foundry Side will not get me a bingo on its own, but Spinning Silver will, and I need to read Spinning Silver for a buddy read this month anyways, so it just makes more sense to like push Foundry Side off to next month or to next week instead of Spinning Silver. I'm actually ow. The motion of me scrunching my eyebrows like that sets this off so bad. I'm actually like 20% through Spinning Silver right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's probably gonna be a 4-star because I am having a little bit of confusion with the story, where it's mainly told between these two POVs of these two girls surviving in like historical fantasy, historical fiction setting. I can't even tell you exactly when it is, but the two POVs are kind of similar, so I have a hard time telling who's talking necessarily, and it's kind of told in this like story tale perspective, so it is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. One of the POVs we're following is this girl who is the daughter of a moneylender, and he's bad at his job, so she ends up taking over the business and is really, really good at it, and ends up making tons of money and turning their silver into gold. And then she hires out this other girl in the town who's the other POV that we're following. Her father is really abusive, and she's hired to this farm to help cover some of his debt. And then she's also hoping to earn some of her own money in the meantime. And then these like fairy-like things come to town and start trying to get the main girl, the moneylender girl, to exchange their silver for gold, and if she doesn't succeed, like bad things will happen, but also the people don't trust these fairy-like creatures. It's not what they're called, but I can't remember right now what they're called. This is what the board looks like. I have my first bingo, and I'm working on my second and my third, so, and my fourth. I didn't even realize that I had a fourth one lined up. Wi-Fi's busted and they can't fix it till tomorrow. It's Wednesday. I am finally home. I got my stitches taken out tonight, which it doesn't look good to me, but I understand that on a healing standpoint, it looks great. It's healing. Everything needs to be doing what it's doing. And I only had the butterfly stitches, so it's not actually like the thread, you know, it's like a bandage stitch, but they call them stitches, but they're not a stitch. My Wi-Fi is not working. It's been out since Saturday, and I need it in order to upload my video for Friday, and it's Wednesday, and I've only been able to download some of the clips in order to edit them, so I haven't been able to edit the video. The guy's coming out tomorrow to fix my Wi-Fi, but I have just been overwhelmed this week, and I feel like I just need to call it on a Friday video and be like, you know what, if I miss 1 week, literally since I started my YouTube channel, this will be the second time I've missed on my schedule. It means that this video that I'm working on will have to get pushed out like 2 weeks because this coming Friday will be my TBR video. 2 updates. First off, I finally left a note for the mail carrier that they listened to and they gave me my package. This is the package that has been stuck in my mailbox for the past few days. So let's do this really quickly because it's in my hands. Go. I'm so freaking excited about this. I just saw a glimpse of it and it looks so freaking good. So you open it, Can you can't see a thing. Oh, it's upside down. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, I should back up and explain this. If you've been on my channel for a decent amount of time, I don't think I've talked about this author in a little bit. Michael J. Sullivan and I are friends on social media. He's an author who independently publishes like high epic fantasy books. I have read the first 3 books in the, I don't remember what the series is called right now. I think it's The Final Empire, but it's Legend of Myth, Legend of War, Legend of, I can't remember the 3rd book, but there's 6 of them, and I have the special collector's editions of those 6 books. And then I have read the first 3 or 4 books in his other series. Oh my God, I'm pulling a blank right now. So he does Kickstarters online, and he always sends me like links to them when he does them because he knows that I like his writing and that I want to support him. So this is his next book. I think it's coming out in November for the general public, but for everyone who supported the Kickstarter, you got it early, and your options were you could either get an ebook, you could get paperback or hardback, or you could get the special edition hardback. And so I opted for the special edition hardback because I thought, you know what, why not? And this freaking looks like a book, like, oh my God, like how do you call it? Like an antique ancient book, and there's ribbon inside, so I don't even need a bookmark with it, but I also have a signed bookmark. So I think the actual book cover is like this. Him and his wife are the nicest people. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. The inside is signed, and he numbered which one it is, and he dated it, and there's a stamp. So I finished Crescent City today. I read 170 pages yesterday, or 160, and then I woke up this morning and I had 170 left that I needed to read. So I woke up this morning and I read some before I left for work. I drove to work and I read some in the parking lot while I was waiting for my shift to start, because I normally like get to work early and just clock in and work. But today I was like, no, I'm waiting until the last possible moment, and I'm reading this in the car. I then read this on my lunch break. I ate lunch at my desk so that I could spend my whole hour just reading this. And then my last 30 minutes of work, I downloaded the ebook on my phone and was reading when I had some free time. And then I read it when I was waiting at the Cox store to get my new router, which doesn't work. And then I was reading while I was waiting for it to get set up upstairs. And then I was reading while I was waiting for my family to come pick me up for dinner tonight. And then when I went to their house, I had 10 pages left. So I went off to the bathroom and I read the last 10 pages while they all waited for me. And I finished it. Guys, this book wasn't great, first off, but the last 200 pages were amazing, like beyond great. Like if I was just rating those last 200 pages, 4.5 out of 5 stars. But I have to rate all of this. I really feel like this series as a whole is going to be really, really good. And when I compare it all together, I think I'm gonna like it more than Throne of Glass, but less than ACOTAR. Like I've just really been enjoying ACOTAR, which has been so surprising to me. And I enjoyed parts of Throne of Glass, but I don't think of it as like an amazing series. I think of it as a good series, but I think this one is going places. I just don't think it was here yet. Like this book was a prequel to set up the world, to explain everything, how it works, to really get you comfortable with everything so that the story can happen in later books. And from my little bit of Google research, there's going to be 7 books plus novellas in this series. I don't know why Sarah J Maas is obsessed with 7, but she is. I also see how this book is going to connect all of the multiverses together. In case you're not a huge Sarah J Maas fan, all of her books take place in the same universe, I guess is the right way to say it. They're all like in the same world, but they are separated by like dimensions of reality. And if you've read the end of Throne of Glass, one of the characters like falls through all the dimensions and sees some of the characters from Throne of Glass and sees Crescent City and sees some other worlds. And then in this book, you get opened up to the idea of these gates in between worlds that might be able to connect them. So we've known for a while that the worlds are connected and that they are going to one day come together, at least somehow. Like Sarah J Maas is over here literally writing Marvel, but like whatever. I will be reading book 2. I will be buying book 2 and I'll be reading it as soon as I freaking can. I ended up rating it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm really glad I physically read it too, because I think if I had listened to the audiobook, I would have rated it less. I have Wi-Fi. Let's do a Pinterest break. Hello, my beautiful people. It is Saturday night. I haven't talked to you in a few days, but it's just been kind of like meh around here. Today I went out with my mom all day. We went to the farmer's market, we went thrift shopping, we went and got pedicures, we went to lunch, we went to dinner. I didn't feel like living my day while filming. You know, I was just trying to live in the moment and enjoy it. I am here to open this package that I just received, which is books. So one of my goals for the end of this year going into 2022, in case you don't know, I started making, you wouldn't know, I didn't tell anyone, I started making some 2022 goals already. I started making some lists and some goals and organizing things, and yeah, I'm insane. But some of the goals that I made is to read more indie published and just smaller books. So books that people don't necessarily talk about a lot or don't have like a ton of reviews and ratings or whatever. So this package is some of those. I have 2 books in here. I'm hoping to read both of them in September. The first one is called The Sunderlands by Anastasia King. It's like a fae story. I've heard it's really dark. On TikTok, they recommend you anything that sounds like ACOTAR, so I picked it up. It sounds like it's right up my alley. I don't know a ton more about it. This one might get moved to October, just depending on how TBR Bingo goes, which you'll be able to watch September's TBR Bingo and Bookoplathon and Magical Readathon on Friday. The next book in here is Savage Lands. I got recommended this one because I really enjoyed Guild, so I'm really excited to be reading this, and I will definitely be reading it in the month of September. I feel like these pages are super white. Like, okay, this is this book's pages. Can you see a difference? Fantasy romance, fae story. It's what I'm reading right now. Oh, I have updates to tell you. So I did play bingo already. It's over there. You can't see anything. But I did manage to do 1 hour of audiobook listening, which you didn't get to see, unfortunately, and you saw me do my Pinterest break. So I pulled both of those, and they gave me some bingos. Then I decided to DNF Spinning Silver. I made it 50% through the book, and I was just really bored with it. I felt like it was a really cool story, and a really important story at that, but I was just kind of bored with the entire thing, and I was dreading listening to the second half of it, so I decided to DNF that. And I am a good chunk through The Kingdom of Liars, but I'm not going to talk about it here. I'll talk about it in next week's vlog. I'm like 16% through Foundry Side. I really haven't been listening to audiobooks this week. I'm 12% through. I'm just not in the mood. I want to read physically, so that's what I'm doing right now. Anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to see more content by me, I do release a video every Monday and Friday, except for last Friday where I had no Wi-Fi. But this is the first time since December that I've had to do that. So every Monday and Friday. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye.